Hey, what's up guys, my name is Fox and welcome to another video. Today all about leveling in Final Fantasy XIV. While leveling in Final Fantasy XIV can be tedious at times, in this video I will show you everything you need to know to enhance your experience of leveling in Final Fantasy XIV and make it either faster or less boring. Let's have a look at it. Before we talk about the best methods of leveling, there is something very important, and that is bonus experience. There are multiple ways in Final Fantasy XIV to have bonus experience given to you while you are actively getting experience. One way, for example, one of the most important ways, is the rested experience. Rested experience requires you to do literally nothing. You just lock out in a city or sanctuary and you will be gathering rested experience. You can tell that you are gathering rested experience by the small moon icon next to your experience bar. Next up, something that is super easy to acquire is the food buff. Any kind of consumable that is food in Final Fantasy XIV will give you a 3% experience buff for 30 minutes. You can buy the cheapest food, not even on the market board, but from random vendors, use that and get the 3% just the same as with any other food. This can stack up to 1 hour. If you have not yet joined a free company, maybe it's time to change that now. Free companies have certain buffs and one of them is called Heat of the Battle, which will give you from 5 to 15% more experience while leveling, which is quite a lot. Most free companies will probably run the buff that gives you 10%, which is something you should definitely be on the lookout for. Next up, something that is very interesting for new and returning players. If you're not yet very attached to the current world you're playing on, you would be interested maybe in knowing about preferred worlds. A preferred world is usually a world that has less players and therefore Square Enix wants people to move there or create new characters there. So make sure to check out what the current preferred worlds are, because preferred worlds give out many bonuses to people, including a double experience bonus currently up to level 80. And lastly, a buff I really want to mention because it is super important, the so-called armory buff. The armory buff basically gives characters that are below the level of your current highest character a buff of 200% of experience until level 80. That is a massive amount, so make sure if you're leveling characters to level 1 character further ahead than all the others and not all evenly, because you won't be able to profit from the armory bonus as much. As you can see, there are quite a lot of bonuses that will enhance your leveling experience. It will make it faster and more efficient. So try to always keep a list open with these bonuses to make sure that you have all of them active as much as possible. Now that you know how to prepare for your leveling journey, it is finally time to talk about the best methods to learn as efficiently as possible. We're gonna start it off with one of the best methods out there that you probably already know of, which is the roulettes. Yes, the roulettes are an amazing gain of experience for the time investment that you make. Specifically, a few of them are giving more experience than others. For example, of course, the name says it already, the leveling roulette is amazing in terms of experience gain. Furthermore, you have the trials that also actually give really good experience for the time investment, especially if you get an older one that's dead pretty quickly. And then lastly, we also have the alliance raid, which is a little bit boring because people always take off their gear and you run the level 50 roulette, but it is really good experience. So make sure, if you're hunting for experience, to actually do those roulettes. Next up, a method that is not for everyone, but that's okay. We are talking about PvP. Yeah, PvP gives really good experience. If it is the roulette or not the roulette, it doesn't matter. You get massive experience for the time investment. If you win, you get even more experience, which means you have a good motivation to actually try and win in these modes. So if you like PvP, good for you. If you don't, well, you can do it, but you don't need to. As a small side note for people that are not yet level 50, your ways of leveling are a little bit more limited, but fear not, I also got some solutions for you. Right, if you're sub level 50, you can do the hunting lock or you can do the fates. Both are actually decent ways of getting experience because you don't have access to so many tools, which is something I really suggest, especially once you unlock flying, the hunting lock becomes very easy. Level 50 or higher, the next thing is probably the most efficient thing in the game in terms of time investment versus rewards. And I'm talking about beast tribes. Yeah, beast tribes unlock already pretty early on, but they are there for every expansion. You can do 12 a day, and honestly, they give really, really good experience. Do not underestimate the experience you can get from these little guys, but they are super time investment for what you get in returns for your battle jobs, crafted jobs, and gathering jobs. Another serious fun activity to actually level your characters and to experience them a bit earlier on higher level are the deep dungeons, and we got 3 of them. Once we have the Palace of the Dead, then we have the Heaven on High, and lastly Eureka Orthos. All 3 of them are separate and they give you their own experience in a way. They are very similar of course, but in my opinion the deep dungeons are a quite fun and also relaxing way to actually level your characters, and as I mentioned, you get to experience your characters at higher level when you go inside of those deep dungeons, so something definitely to consider. I will quickly mention this other method, but I don't like it and I won't talk much about it, but Boja exists and it gives a good experience and you can do it if you want to. I will just not do it, and I don't have any footage of it and I haven't been into it, so not much for me to talk about it, but I'm still going to mention it. Yeah, Boja, you can do it to gain experience. Lastly, one of the good old methods that will always work is simply queuing up for a dungeon that is close to your level, right? If you're level 73, for example, you can queue up into a level 72 dungeon or 73, I don't know which level Don Meg is, I think it's 73, but you can grind it as much as you'd like until you're level 75 and then move on to the next dungeon. This will always work, yet it is probably one of the least efficient ways to level. You might have noticed that we mostly talked about very active ways of leveling. You always go into an instance, you always do some dungeon or something. Well, there's of course more ways to level, there are different things you can do, especially true when you're waiting to get into certain instances. Maybe you're on a damage dealer and it takes you 10 to 15 minutes to get into your dungeon that you wanted to queue up with. Well, there are a lot of things you can do in the open world to gain additional experience, specifically while you are waiting to get into something else. I also believe these are not bad methods, but they usually don't offer as high reward of experience than other things. So the first thing I want to talk about is, for example, the hunt. Hunting is actually something that is, well, I wouldn't call it the most interesting activity in the game, but it's definitely something you can do while you're queued up for a dungeon, for example, or you can just do it because you want to get additional gil or the seals that they give, but hunts also offer really decent experience. So if you don't know what you actually want to do while you're waiting and you don't want to AFK somewhere, hunts are super easy. You grab your marks and then you kill your target and you're done. In a very similar fashion, you also have the fates. It's very simple. You open your minimap and you try to find a fate that is around your level, possibly your exact level or maybe one level below yours, but not above because you will get a bit less experience. Fates also become a bit more interesting once you hit level 70 to level 90 because they offer additional rewards on top of experience. They give you a currency that you can exchange for certain gathering materials, which you then can sell, so you're even making gil while you're leveling. Something else that is definitely worthy to mention are the side quests which you can do while you wait for a duty to pop, for example. While side quests aren't the most interesting activities, they give a fair share of experience, and on top of that they enhance your lore experience. They give you sometimes certain materials, rewards, items, whatnot, but most of all, the best reward is when you did them all and your whole map is simply very clean. Lastly, since we're already talking about quests, please don't forget to do your role quests or job quests because you will have to do them anyway at some point. So it is just efficient to do them while you're leveling because you will also get additional experience from them. Before I send you off, there are 2 more very important things that I really want you to know about because they are more passive leveling and are things that you can just do while you are actively leveling basically. First up, one of those 2 is the challenge log. You probably heard about it. If you haven't, make sure to check it out in the log section of your menu. The challenge log basically tracks the activities you do throughout a week and it will then fill some bars. And once you reach a certain amount of dungeons or fates, for example, you will get additional free experience on top of the experience you already gained from doing those activities. It is very wise to check your challenge log towards the end of the week to then see if you may be missing only one dungeon or one fate to actually gain the free experience buff. It is something I definitely recommend checking in with sometimes to see if you can sneak some free experience. The last thing is something I really beg you to not forget to do, because I can guarantee you many people have wasted experience on this already. I'm talking about Wondrous Trails. And why do I say people wasted their experience? Well, let me get to that. Wondrous Trails is something you get from Chloe in Idleshire, and once you have the small book, you look at the instances you have to do, which can be trials or raids or whatever, and then you get a stamp once you finish it. And once you've collected 9 stamps in total, you then are eligible for at least the first tier of rewards. If you get lions, you get more. But here is where the important part comes. These 9 stamps are guaranteed free experience, literally free. You just need to change to a character that is not max level, and you can claim half a level of free experience. And I know, because I also made this mistake, that people just forget to change to a character they're leveling, which then is just sadly wasted experience. And with that, we're at the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. If you liked the video and you learned something, probably about leveling in Final Fantasy XIV, you can leave a like and also hit the subscribe button. If there's anything you want to add on telling other people how to level even better than my video, make sure to do so in the comments. Or if you just have anything nice or not nice to tell me, why would you not have anything nice to say? You can also do that in the comments though. But enough for today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. And as always, I'm wishing you an amazing rest of your day, wherever you live.